Well, folks, I have to tell you about how good it can make you feel when you know that someone's out there.
Pro style.
All right. Bringing you a brand new show that I like to call Body and Soul Radio. And I go by the name of Ty Slatter. And I got my lovely co-host in there this evening, Tarren with the T. Say what's up, Tarren.
Hey, what's up? It's T.
All right, we got Mr. Royce Report. What's up, Royce? You good out there? Can you hear me out there?
I'm in the building, so let's do it.
And we got a very special guest in the building this evening, man. This man right here is definitely an inspiration to me. Somebody that's got me going. We go way back. We gonna definitely get into that story. We got the executive producer himself, Scoob Stacks.
Yeah.
In the building with us today. How you feeling out there, Scoob?
I'm feeling mighty good, man.
Scoob on the track. Hey.
Shout out Waldo. That's my tag.
Hey,
my tattoo artist is the guy who recorded my tag, and that, like, without that tag, there would be no brand, man. It's just crazy.
Well, we want to thank you for coming to Body Soul Studios, man. It's a pleasure, man.
Appreciate it.
By far, this interview right here, shout out to Jermaine HD, the background guy on the Canon this evening. On the Canon. You know,
Step right.
it's lit in here today, man. It's my birthday, man. So the fact that everybody came out tonight, man, yo, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I thought somebody started clap. Hey,
happy birthday.
Yo, thank you. I went from my Jordan year to my Kobe year. It's about to get lit real quick.
Yeah. That's a true transition right there.
Straight up. I'm trying to go from good to great.
This is my 24th. So
School, man, just go ahead and give them the story, man. What's your inspiration? What got you started?
Man, my dad first and foremost was a DJ,
right?
And my stepdad is
DJ some love.
he's a
Respect the DJ.
He's a musician. He's the minister of music at our church. So my dad gave me the passion with the DJing, that just listen to. I kid you not. Like, I got a glimpse at his library once. Nobody ever believes me. He had 250,000 songs in his library. Wow. And that's everything, like vinyls.
Date cricket to the max.
Every Friday, we would go to a store in Fort Wayne called Wood Nickel. Yeah. And we would just shop for just vintage tracks. And he would come home. And to me, it just seemed tedious. But to him, that's what he loved. So he would come home and take the CD, rip it to Windows Media Player,
right, and
look at the back of the CD and would like type everything out, like features, all that stuff. That's what he liked doing. So 250,000 songs in his collection, and that's where the love came from. Now, as far as like production, my stepdad came and he knows everything under the sun with music and equipment and all that good stuff. So that's where it comes from. That's the foundation, pretty much.
Absolutely. It comes from. By any chance, because you've made plenty of beats over that time, can you remember how I felt to make your first beat?
My first beat, man, I'll never forget it. It was in Guitar Center. My stepdad took me to Guitar Center. I was 9 years old.
Right.
And I don't know what the heck he was doing over there, but it took him forever. So I went in the producer section, like where the MPCs and all that good stuff was at, and just playing on the pads. It's just like, now that you look back at it at an older age, just like, that's where you felt like
this
touching something. Like, I don't know if it makes sense, but like, I know I'm trash
right now. Quit touching stuff, boy.
I was just touching stuff, just playing with stuff, and actually laid something down,
right, and
played it back, and was just like, it made sense. It just made sense. So when I got reconnected with my dad back in 2007. We're just catching up and everything and doing all this good stuff. And he just like, so what do you want to do when you grow up? And I was like, Dad, I think I want to be a producer. He was like, what? Really? Like, you want to be a producer? I was like, yeah, like, I think I want to be a producer. He's like, my friend just dropped.
Bro, I think I'm going to cry right now.
That father-son moment.
I'm so proud.
That's like, it's a priceless moment. You can't put a tag on that. He was like, I got this True program that my friend just dropped off like literally last week. So if you want to do that, I can install this on the computer and I'll let you have my computer the whole night, which is special because my dad never liked us using his computer. Right. So I was just like, okay, cool. Like, he gave me the keys to the computer. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got to, it's like, okay, I got to come through. So that whole night I cooked up, and then a week later, you know Ham, right? Yeah, that's my right hand.
Shout out to him, man.
We
Good-
shout
good
out my
dude.
brother Ham. He up in Fort with Jimmy Yoon recording a video as we speak.
Jimmy
So
Yoon
yeah,
Productions.
yeah,
Check
yeah.
out them videos on YouTube, man.
For
Jimmy Yoon's
sure.
a good
He's
guy, man.
sick man. Sick music coming out soon this year. But when Ham came through, he came through and I just remember like showing it off like, look what I'm doing. Like I'm making beats.
Right.
And he was like, dang, that's cool. Like I wish I could like do the same thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's cool. And all my dad was like, for real? Like you want to do this too? Like I can give you the program. I'm like, no, don't give him the program. Like I'm trying to be the star of the family, you know?
Right.
So he was like, I'll give you the program. So a week later, he came back and was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like your beats and all that stuff, but, like, I feel like your keys, like, your melodies and all that stuff, like, it's just weak. And I'm like, I like your keys and stuff, but your drums, like, are, like, you know, subpar. So he's like, you know what? Why
Put it
don't we
together.
link together? You do the drums, I do the keys, and we make a track together. And that one track started 10 years of, like, we were already, I was born in September, he was born in January.
Right.
So his grandma and my grandma are sisters.
Right.
So we already family and, like, grew up together in diapers.
Right.
So it's like we already were brothers. But, like,
Naturally.
10 years, this is our 10th year producing. So we just, like, you know,
Congratulations, man.
just that moment right there. My dad giving us one piece of software that he got off his friend, which probably was cracked, by the way. Now that I'm, like, in this, like, it's probably was cracked knowing my dad. My dad, every DVD, every CD, anything, like, that probably was cracked. But that started a 10-year, like, brotherhood bond of music together.
It's beautiful.
So that's really where it started. That's the background.
And what I want people to understand this listening out there today, man, because we're going to get Royce to get a chance to interview real quick. I just want to throw out there, you said 10 years. I want them to understand we're both young. So when we say 10 years, I mean,
very.
I've been, you know,
14
doing music for 10
years old.
It's like
14
right.
years old.
We start early. You know, once you get bit by that music bug, man, you start early.
Yeah, I
Middle
see
school.
you back there with the 2013. I
Absolutely.
meant to comment on that earlier. I seen that. I'm like, okay.
I'm only 22.
Represent.
Salute. I actually got
Representing.
held back in the 7th grade, so I'm a year behind. So
It's all good, man. Class of 2011 in the building.
yeah, I
absolutely,
seen
you know what I'm saying?
a fellow 2013. That's the hoodie I should have bought, but at that point I was supporting myself and had to buy all that. So you know, when Jostens came through the high school, just a basic bare I had to pay for it. So it's like, you know, bare minimums. I don't need the ring. I don't need the, you know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
give me.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. So, Mr. Royce Report, we have any questions for Mr. School?
I mean, before I actually ask him a question, I think it's once again necessary to highlight your movement, man.
Yeah.
Like you said, 10 years in the game, and not a lot of parents out there tend to recognize
Yeah,
a talent in their child,
true.
and then point it out and give them that push, whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
they, reach their goal.
Yeah,
Like,
that's important.
man, that's
Very
we talk
important.
about that a little bit, because I think there are a lot of parents who are busy trying to bring home, the amount of finances to keep the lights on and put
Yeah,
food in bellies and clothes
let
on
alone
back
music equipment
and all that stuff, and then just that little input, that time that he took.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Made a
That's
difference.
now. I was just so funny. I was talking. Everybody know Loon. That's my left hand. Ham is my right hand. Loon is my left.
Right.
But we were just talking about that on the road today. Like how important like family support. Like you would be shocked how important like just the I'm proud of you, good job, or anything like that. Like can just go so far. Just throughout college, I went off to school, went to Ball State for music media production. Fresh off my dad's passing, so I was like depressed and doing all this good stuff.
Right.
But I just when I got there, just not knowing one soul, but one family member who was a very busy person in the I don't know what department he worked at for Ball State, but
Right.
he's the person that got me to Ball State, and like just not knowing one soul and walking out with just knowing pretty much every soul that ever went to Ball State.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
pretty much that family thing is just important just because
Major.
when I went to school, like the generation that came before us is the Industrial Revolution.
Right.
So it's like they're used to going out using their hands and having to work in factories all day and having to actually like work for their dreams. Whereas today we have technology, we have social media. I can get rich off of one Snapchat. It's just one Snapchat away from somebody hearing that, buying that beat, making that a hit record, and I'm rich for the rest of my life. That's something that's unheard of for their generation. My grandparents, they don't know about anything, social media, promo, like anything like that. So going off to school, it was a lot of you should do this, you should do that. Go get a job, go get something that's like heard of, like something with benefits, something
retirement,
pension,
right?
All
that
good
good
30
stuff.
years,
Yeah,
and break
lock
your
it
back
in.
and not be happy.
But it never made sense to me. Like it just was like,
People are burning
okay,
out.
it actually made me mad. And at a point, I heard Aaron Rodgers' story, and like he don't talk to his family at all. And it's like I can only imagine like what he's going through right now, because like that whole family thing is like different. It's like I meet a brand new person every day,
right?
But I'll never have a bond with that person like I have with my family.
Absolutely.
So it's like that family saying like, "Hey, I'm proud of you. Keep doing it.
Major.
Keep doing that." That's motivation you can't buy. So from my family being my number one fans right now is like, before it's like, okay, it's cool. I have the whole world in my front door.
Right.
Every text messages, calls every day saying like, I'm proud of you. But none of those are like a mama's texting you like, I'm proud. I love you. Like a random I love you in the middle of the day in front of like all these meetings and studio sessions and photo shoots and all that good stuff. My mom will text me, hey, I love you. That any motivation, like you can't buy that. You can't read it in a book. You can't do anything. So just that family support, that's number one. That's what keeps me going. Before this, I knew I had to get home. Like I was in Indy for 14 days and someone was like, just get home. Like you need to rest your body. I was texting him the other day. I was like, yo, like this. I'm tired. I had to get home. Like after like 10 days of not sleeping and working all day, like your body aches. Like you don't have time for your body to restore and like sleep. I'm running off like 4 or 5 hours every day. So like I'm tired. So I could have stayed in the city for 2 days, but I was like, go home, get some sleep, get this, and this. I had this prayer with my granny like right before I got on the highway. I felt like I could just conquer the world. Like that one prayer. But that family is something that you can't replace. No matter what you do, no matter where you go, that family is just the number one thing that you just, you know. So for my dad, just having that support from day one is just, you know, it's beautiful. It's something that was instilled in me from just looking back on that, saying that family won't ever. That was my first fan. That was the first dude to actually hear me make the trashiest beats on earth, by the way. Like my dad had like this big, like this whole wall would be covered with this. It was his wall of fame. And he would have like 5 people over like every day buying CDs, and like any artist that would come through and drop CDs, he had it like on this big like mirror type like thing, and he put like nails around the thing, and he put everybody's CDs up there. But in the middle, at the number one thing was me. That was he was like, hey, you gotta make a demo of like 5-6 instrumentals. Like I know it don't make sense now, but it makes sense one day. But this is my pride and joy. Make a demo. So I just exported, like he showed me how to export, and I exported like 5-6 beats, and he burnt it to a CD, and like that was the pinnacle of the Wall of Fame. But just looking back on that and just seeing like how big of a fan he was, I didn't know then because I had just started making beats, so I wasn't like used to having fans and all that. But that was my first legit true fan. That these were the trashiest beats. Like I would get so embarrassed. He would call all his friends over and play these beats, and I'd be like, "These are trash, Dad. Stop playing this." And he'd be like, "No, like these are perfect. Like I could never like replace. Like they're perfect." And to me, I was just like, I know I can get better. So for that being my number one fan, looking back on that 10 years later, it's surreal. I couldn't ask for a better start. Pretty much. I couldn't imagine sitting here having to write a book on how did you start like doing it. That's the best start I could think of.
For the record, out of everybody I've had on here thus far, that was the best intro I've heard.
Appreciate it, man. Like it's,
since I started, like, I'm just like There's no
paper. This is not scripted.
He's not Troy Avenue
this
right
is
now.
not,
Like yo,
this is not.
Wow.
I know that's what people thinking when I say like
No script.
this isn't a live interview. This is all I had all week. Matter of fact, this is like a month and a half ago. We planned this.
We did.
Like he
I
called
said,
me and he said like,
and told you,
I need this. I need this interview. Like for anybody else out there, that's motivation too.
What's so crazy?
Somebody,
it was pressure because I hadn't even got everything ready yet.
Yeah.
I just told you, look, I'm gonna run this in January.
Yeah.
I need you.
And he told me like 6 months ago, and like the fact I love the way you move. You taught me, like, you motivate me not to, because I'm known for just putting everything out. Like, in the beginning stage of my career, like, just putting everything out there and, like, hey, everybody, I'm doing this. Like, this, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
He's silent. He hit you with he hit you like good 50 tweets afterwards. Like, when the move's there.
Right, when it's out.
When it's out, it's out.
On.
It's on and popping. But, like, in the midst of it, he's not in the studio. He's not. He was Snapchat saying he's in the studio. He's not saying like, "Yo, this is what we worked on last night. This is what we did. This blah blah blah." So you know what I'm saying? Like it's that kind of inspired me to become like this silent assassin is what I call it. Like,
don't you know bad boys move in silence?
But pretty much, man. Like he told me this idea 6 months ago, and for me to be sitting here 6 months later to kick off my promo, like I couldn't picture another way to start it, really, like to get started.
I'm rocking alumni today.
Yeah, this
is a BSU alumni exclusive right here. Because me in school, because I met this guy. I remember when he started in Muncie at Ball State, man, and it's crazy because like he said, we met initially in your first studio you had out there, I think Windermere, man, right? And then we linked up there, and I just saw the vibe there, and he was just getting started on his production. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, we're going to link up, man. I'm definitely going to work with you. Because at the time, I was looking for new producers, looking for a new sound. And I saw it. I heard it there. But life has a way of showing you things. You keep them in your back pocket or you keep them in your Rolodex or in the back of your head. And when the right time comes, it manages to come back tenfold. And I'll kid you not. I think we didn't talk for almost like a year. Yeah. Was it about
pretty
a year?
Much a year before we worked.
Yeah. So that was 2014. We was just talking about this right before we started. And 2015, we ended up linking up again that summer, and he had, like, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, you had 4 quarters of music, 4 albums on Dropbox.
When you met me, actually, it was Google Drive when you met me.
Right, okay, so when I met you a year later.
16 beats.
Right.
And it was straight Google Drive.
Right, but then a year later, I get on, he's like, no, I ain't doing that no more. I'm on Dropbox now.
Yeah, with 100.
I'm like.
16 to 100 minimum.
He's like, I got it down in quarters now. I'm like, damn. Like, so he just sends me this link to his Dropbox, and I'm just going through it, man. And I'm like, okay, this guy's for real.
Yeah.
In a year. I know people that, you build up a catalog in 5 years, 7, 10. He built up a catalog in a year. And it wasn't just like some halfway thrown together, you know what I mean? And then he even figured out how to start doing snippets.
No, it started off with snippets.
And the snippets, and actually the way you had it organized, I like that. I like how you had it in snippets because it gave you just enough of the beat to feel it, but not to steal it. You know what I mean?
I like that. I'm gonna steal that.
I'm
gonna steal that.
Just enough of beat to feel it, but don't steal it. Hashtag feel it, don't steal it. I like that.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool, man. I just to hear stuff like this. I was telling Sly earlier, man. Like how
shout
this
out to Sly Ross, Pro Style.
Stop.
Shout out.
Please. That got my vibe for today right there. I knew I was off to a good start when I met somebody from Pro Style Studios and was like, okay, cool. Like I'm about to do an interview later on, and the fact that I'm getting plugs off this interview, like without the interview happening yet. Any interview I do is just like an injection of like promo. Like you get more fans, you get more. These are people you haven't heard of before. Like. Just anything really, or it just makes you're moving. So even the people that's sleeping on you, they're kind of waking up a little bit. Yeah. But when I woke up and actually had a meeting with him earlier, it's like, okay, cool. Like I'm gonna handle this. Like we would have recorded today had it not been for this interview today. Right. But I had too much going. I know how the world works.
Universe.
You do a radio interview like later on that day, and then you're like, oh, I got time. I can do a little quick session. That session wound up becoming 3 hours, and then you about to hit the highway. Then you got to get gas. You got to get food. You got this. Then when you touch down, I got a whole. My main goal for today was to premiere that Camp Crystal Lake for Friday the 13th. I knew I had to go through and finish that video, so I was like, all right, I need to get the indie before the world gets to me. So I won't accept it. I appreciate the fact you got your money ready. you ready to go, but
Right.
I need to handle this first before I get, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, to Indy. I need to get this done. So
Absolutely.
had it not been for this interview, we'd have worked today. But just to know that I'm handling this interview, I just kicked off my first promo run for my new EP, and to know that I got business on the side that's waiting for me, more money, pretty
Right.
much. Like that's surreal. Like,
God is real,
God is very real.
man. That's all you can say with that.
Right.
So,
So
Tarren, you've been awfully quiet this evening. Welcome back. Hi. How you doing?
Hey.
Tarren,
really
we well, you know, we want to be more into what's going on with Tarren with the T. We haven't heard from you in a while, and I'm just gonna do what Royce was gonna do anyway. He's been waiting for this. Hi, how are you?
Hey.
You have any? Did you want to, introduce yourself?
I'm here to bring the female's perspective, to the guy's
Absolutely.
perspective on the situation.
So break it
I guess
down.
it's only fair, you know.
Break it down for Mr. School Stacks, man. Break it down. The world's been waiting.
Well, you know, I get into those reality shows and stuff, you know, those crazy reality shows.
oh my
that
God.
The guys really don't invest their time
Oh
in.
my God.
And
No, I
can
know a lot of dudes that
bring
invest their
out
time
those
in it.
dramatics,
Yeah.
you know, to hear. And I mean, we also, of course, we get on those serious levels of, you know, situations and things that are happening today and things that have gone on, you know, that we touch base on too. And I bring the female perspective to that. But, you know, yes, I'm definitely, you know, the voice to bring all that crazy lady drama.
Couldn't have said
you
it
know,
better.
that people
Angela,
talk
look,
about.
Angela, you got competition. Watch out.
Definitely bracing myself right
Watch
now.
out. Now. All right, he's ready.
One thing that I feel like is neat about what you said is when you were talking about, you know, you and your brother both been interested in what your dad you know, was doing. When you said that I want to be the star, you know, of the family. And then it ended up being about you and your brother, and you guys carried on that relationship. I feel like that's super awesome because you were thinking about it totally different. And then when both of you guys got together and started creating this magic, it was like, no, forget that. I'm totally all about this. So I thought that was pretty neat because it was a complete turnaround.
It's me just growing up. I'm the first grandkid of the family, period.
Same here.
So I'm spoiled, very.
Yeah,
so I'm used to being a star. Like, this is my show.
Right.
So my cousin Trishelle was born, and she's the one under me. I'm like, okay, now I got to share the spotlight.
Right.
And then he came, now it's us three. And then my little brother came, now it's us four.
Right.
And then the kids, but I'm the lead guy. Like, I'm the first one. So
He sounds like David Ruffin.
that ain't good, low key. Like, I hope I don't wind up strung out or nothing.
Before the drugs.
But okay, before that's
come
okay,
up,
that's better.
David. The
That's
come up,
better.
David.
The good one.
The
In
good
his
David.
prime.
The good David.
In his
In
prime.
There you go.
But yeah, it's a thing I had to learn. I just feel like I just learned it like 3 months ago. Like, I was very selfish.
Right.
I noticed, like, talking to, like, just going through a lot of old text messages saying, like, you know, everything's about me. I'm used to everything being about me.
Yeah.
So that was like the first. I didn't notice it then, but that was the first like test I had. Like, are you ready to share the spotlight? Yes. Like, without him, I'm like probably wouldn't have been here.
Right.
Back then, when we first started producing in 2007, like, we started very early. It was a different time. It wasn't like you could go out and just look for a YouTube video and become a producer overnight.
Right.
Now, like, everybody makes videos about everything. What dish
Right.
up to use in your dish.
Broadcast.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
ain't
Like,
lying.
YouTube
just
started this. They
anything.
said
Yeah.
broadcast yourself, and people took
And
that
that's
literal.
exactly.
They started it.
Oh, I can do that. I can make a video
and
about
they
this.
make money off the video of me making
Right.
this?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
so I get
Let me
10K
go in there
views
and
and I get
twerk.
X
Yeah.
amount of dollars. Okay,
Okay,
cool,
bet.
So I'm like, all right, cool. Well, without him, like, I don't even know if I would have made it this far.
That's real.
So it's like everything we learned, we didn't have like the old heads above us saying like, hey, young man, like, this is how you do X, Y, Z. We had to go out and find it every day. So the past 10 years, every single day is researching, finding something new about production, anything like outside of production. Like it could just be like the last 3 days I just watching interviews on how to conduct myself. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, he just sent the brainwave. Check this out, man.
Now it don't. Oh,
This is-
Ty
this
ain't the only one dropping.
This now. I want to drop the free jewels right here because
Jewels.
always. And if you don't pick these up, it's your own fucking problem.
True.
That's my disclaimer.
True.
Always give credit where credit is due.
Exactly.
And that's something that you've always done ever since I met you. And
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I
Got to.
highlight that. Have to. That's major. Everybody does what they do, and you know, whether they admit it out loud or not, in their minds, they want to feel appreciated, feel like that their services are not going to waste or all for none.
True.
So I always say thank you to my co-hosts, Royce Report, Tarren, Jermaine HD on the camera, and School for coming through. Even though this is just getting started,
Yeah.
I say thank you more than once only because I'm humble.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I always give credit where credit is
Appreciate
due.
it.
Well,
got
thank you to you.
You
Thank
got
you.
to.
No
Without that
problem.
credit, it's like, okay, I just couldn't
Cut
run.
my check.
I could.
Nah.
Cut his mic. Clapbacks for real. On my birthday, clapback. Hashtag birthday clapback.
I'm gonna let you breathe today.
I was gonna say Ty
He said
wins.
today because it's your day.
Flawless victory.
Perfect. No, perfect.
Perfect.
You still coming to get that birthday haircut though, right?
Straight up.
Word.
Word.
I got him. Alcohol be hot.
Cut his mic. He ain't got no.
He ain't got no
Man,
mic.
check this out. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a record because they getting wild on these mics, man. It's getting hot in here, man. I'm gonna go ahead and play this Up All Night. Shout out to Tarren on the hook, man. The Through It All EP. If you don't know already, we got an EP, Through It All. It's on TySlayer.com. Season 1, Season 2, Body Soul, TySlayer.com. We'll be right back with School Stacks, Royce Report, and Tarren with the T, Jermaine HD, Body and Soul. We'll be right back.
Yo.